All right, excuse me, this will be the video for short paper number 2. Short paper number 2, the second section that you'll be writing as far as the marketing plan is concerned, will cover 3 things: the mission statement, the goals, and the objectives. Before we talk about those 3 things, I want to remind you, remember you are writing a marketing plan, so do not refer to these sections as a paper. So don't start this one as this paper will cover. It is a section of a marketing plan. So don't forget that, and don't forget about the point of view that you're taking if you're writing it as if you're on the outside of the company looking in, or if you're inside the company and you're considering yourself part of the company. Those are 2 different points of view, so use the same point of view in every paper you write. All right, paper number 2, mission statement, goals, and objectives. This will have 3 sections. It could possibly have 2 sections. I'll explain. The first section everyone will have, it's referred to as the mission statement. The second section, listed as goals, could be that you find the goals and objectives listed together when you find them, and they're presented at the same time. They're pretty much presented, the objectives are with specific goals, and so they're presented together, so you might want to present them together. So your section 2 would be goals and objectives. But if you find them in 2 different spots and they're presented separately, then your section 2 will be goals and your section 3 will be objectives. With this particular paper in these 3 sections, with mission statement, goals, and objectives, this paper will be mainly a cut and paste paper. I do want the exact mission statement. I do want the exact goals, the exact objectives listed or presented in the section. So it's going to be a lot of cut and paste kind of thing. So not a lot of original writing on your part. But that also means that you will definitely have sites for your references, for your reference page. You'll have some sites to be included within the paper, etc. Let's start with section 1, the mission statement. I've also listed on Blackboard, other than the short paper outlines, I've listed chapter outlines, and the mission statement is mentioned in chapters 2 and 4. Several things there. In chapter 2, there will be some specific things that I'm going to point out, so just make note of that. You can go on there and see some chapter outlines that I've made available to you. The mission statement, this is a good heading for this section. And what I'm about, the first thing I cover there under content is something that not only applies here, but it applies with any topic that you write about this semester. If whatever I'm asking for, and in this case the mission statement, I'm asking for this information as it pertains to your particular product, because you've selected an individual, very specific product. So I'm asking for the mission statement for your individual product. If you do not find what I'm asking for that applies to your individual product, if you do not find it for the product, then I want you to broaden your vision or broaden your search to include the division that your product is in. Case in point, if your product is Coca-Cola and you don't find a mission statement for Coca-Cola, then broaden your search and see if you can find a mission statement for the soft drink division within the Coca-Cola Corporation. Kind of thing. If you don't find, say, a mission statement or whatever I'm asking for at that level, at the divisional level, then look and see if you can find it for the company as a whole. And more than likely you should be able to find that information as it pertains to the company as a whole. So when I start off saying the product mission statement, cite it, or the division mission statement and cite that, or the corporate mission statement, cite that. The word "or" means you provide one of those. Don't provide several mission statements. You're only providing one mission statement, and it's the mission statement that is closest to the individual product. You may find one for your individual product, you may not. If you don't, move on to the division. If you do find a mission statement for your individual product, then provide that mission statement. So you keep broadening your search until you find that mission statement. Once you find that mission statement, I would like for it to be presented word for word. So your section heading will be mission statement, and then you'll have an introductory sentence that you create, something like the mission statement for product ABC, whatever your product is as follows. And then you present your mission statement. If you find one for, say, the division or the company and not your particular product, you may have an introductory sentence of the mission statement for product ABC does not exist. However, the XYZ Corporation has the following mission statement, and then you present it. So let the reader, in this case myself, know that no mission statement exists for the individual product, but hey, this mission statement does exist. And then present it word for word. I suggest setting your mission statement off in some way, single space it or indent it an extra 5 or something along those lines. Once you present it, setting it off with more than just quotation marks, but single space it or something like that. Once you present it, it should be followed by a cite, because this is a cut and paste, word for word. Where did you get it? Cite the mission statement. Everyone's mission statement should be cited, unless you run into the issue of you do not find a mission statement. I'm going to address that in just a moment, but just to give you an idea, if you go through and there's no mission statement for the individual product, for the division, or the company, then I want you to write a mission statement for this product. So regardless of whether you find one or not, a mission statement will be provided. If you find one, cut and paste it, offer a cite. If you don't find one, write one, and you do not cite it because it's your own words. So any mission statement that I see in paper number 2 that doesn't have a cite, then you are claiming you wrote the mission statement. Okay? Now, how do you write a mission statement, or how do I go about that? Well, there is something else that I want in this section. If you find a mission statement, whether it be the individual, division, corporate mission statement, then on page 30 in your textbook, at the bottom of that page 30, there are the authors provide 5 questions that need to be answered by a good mission statement. So what I want you to do is, if you find a mission statement, I want you to start a new paragraph in this section and critique the mission statement that you found. And the way you critique it is seeing if it answers these 5 questions. The 5 questions are: who are we? Who are our customers? What is our operating philosophy? What are our core competencies? And what are our responsibilities as they relate to how we use resources, human resources, environmental resources, etc. So basically, you're looking at the mission statement to see if it answers these 5 questions. You can structure the critique however you want. It can be, cite the textbook and say the author suggests 5 questions must be answered in all good mission statements. Question 1, who are we? Answered in line 3, or not answered. Then move to the next question. So don't just state, yes, it's answered, but where is it answered? Maybe give a few words, 2 or 3 words, or a quote from the mission statement on where you think it's answered, where it answers these questions. So you find a mission statement, cite it, offset it in some way, and then critique it as it relates to these 5 questions. Then you're through with the mission statement section if you do find a mission statement. Now, a little side note, and I have this written in the short paper outline, is that when we get to the end of the semester and you're putting your final version together, I'll remind you of this, but I do not want you to include the critique in your final version. The only reason why I do that is, let's say you're doing a mission statement, a marketing plan for a product of a product that's manufactured by a company that you get an interview with, and they say, you want to show them your marketing plan of a product, and they're flipping through it and they happen to see this critique, and you talk about how bad the mission statement is. You don't want that coming out in an interview, so I do suggest that you eliminate the critique in the final version. Include it in paper 2, but eliminate it in the final version. And I'll remind you of that at the end of the semester. So, what if you do not find a mission statement and you write one on your own? How do I write a mission statement? How is this possible? What can I do? Well, you have 5 questions here that will give you some direction on how to write a good mission statement. But what I suggest to do as well is if you have a product like, say, Coca-Cola, I would go find the mission statement for Pepsi-Cola or RC-Cola or whatever, some other soft drink, and then just tweak it and modify that to be the mission statement that you couldn't find. You don't have to start from scratch. Don't reinvent the wheel. Find a mission statement that already exists, and put it in your own words and try to, get it to answer as many of the 5 questions, that a good mission statement should answer, that you can. So, there's, lots of companies out there that provide their mission statements, especially if they're publicly held, because they want folks to invest in them, etc. A lot of times you can find these under the menu items on their home pages of About Us or those kinds of things, our principles or whatever. You may see some called, instead of mission statements, they may be called vision statements or those kinds of things. If you feel like it's a mission statement based on the questions here and how a mission statement is defined, etc., then in your introductory sentence, say a mission statement was discovered for product ABC. The corporation refers to their mission statements as vision statements, and it is as follows, and then you provide it. Okay, so let the reader know in your introductory sentence or two that you know what a mission statement is. Here it is. That it is a different name, or it's, still called a mission statement, whatever. But you let me, the reader, know that you understand what a mission statement is, the mission statement for your product, division, or company, and then the critique for the mission statement. That pretty much covers the first section, mission statements. Okay, I didn't mention it, but the definition for a mission statement is also there on page 30, if you want that. So everyone will have that first section, whether you find a mission statement or not, entitled Mission Statement. Then that will be followed by goals and objectives. The goals and objectives are also in the textbook as far as definitions and examples and that sort of thing. I failed to discover let me walk through here. Bear with me as I look to, I'm basically going on to the chapter outlines and extras that are there and downloading the mission statement, not mission statement, the mission statement goals and objectives outlined for the chapter. And it looks like the goals and objectives are found on page 40 and page 107. Page 40 and page 107 for the definitions and what they entail. Page 40 has the goals and objectives definition, and then more discussion of it on page 107. Okay? All right. Looking back at the, sorry for my voice. Watched JSU almost beat Auburn Saturday, so lost a little bit of my voice there. So we're looking at goals and objectives, both of them. They are different. You may find that the company calls them different things as well. They may call them, instead of goals and objectives, they may call them targets or our principles, our guiding principles, those kinds of things. So they may call them different things. I want you to be able to distinguish the difference between a goal and an objective, and also be able to distinguish what they call it as a goal or whatever they call it as an objective. We'll start with goals first. Goals, these are very general statements about what they hope to do in the future. Whether it's a goal or objective, remember these are looking into the future. Do not simply list things that they've done in the past. Do not say they wanted to be the #1 car manufacturer in 2011 and they achieved that. That's not a goal. That's not an objective. That's not a mission statement. That's looking to the past. Mission statement, goals, and objectives look to the future. So a goal would be something like, that they hope to become the best, the manufacturer of the best skincare lotion in the world. There's no really measurable there. It's a very general statement. those kinds of things. The textbook definition says a broad, simple statements of what will be accomplished through their marketing strategies. Very broad, very simple. What are the goals for your particular product? That this product will become the most popular product in its category in the world or in the country or in the U.S. or whatever. Then that is a goal. There are no specifics. There are no numbers. There are no dates. There's just very general statements. It's very difficult to measure it. It's just something that they put out there. This is what we're achieving to be, something broad, general, etc. If you get in there and there are more sources than just the website. There are financial statements. The companies always list those if it's publicly held, those sorts of things. So there are more sources than just the internet. If you get in there and there none exist, you cannot find any goals, any general statements. It could be in a speech by the CEO or somebody like that they talk about. This is what, where we hope to go and the direction we're headed in the future. So it could be something along those lines. But if you cannot find anything, no quotes, no statements, nothing about what the goals are for the company, that is okay. You can simply have the section heading goals in your introductory sentence of the no goals exist for product XYZ and corporation ABC. After none exists. The sources searched are, and then I want you to list and show me where you looked for the goals, because I will follow up. If you say no goals exist, then I'm going to follow up and see if I find goals. If I can find them very quickly and it looks like all you did was you didn't want to fulfill the assignment, you just wanted to say, hey, none exists. I looked at the company homepage. If that's all, and if I find them there, then you will get no credit for this section. I want you to find goals. However, there are some privately held firms and folks like that do not have goals out there listed, and they're difficult to find. You might find goals. Some of you have like Apple products. You might find a goal, an environmental goal for Apple Corporation, but you didn't find any for the division for your product. Well, that's okay. You still found goals that the company set. Go ahead and include those to show I know what a goal is. Here it is, to reduce our carbon footprint over the next, 5 years. Well, that's too specific. If it said that, then it would probably fit more into the objectives. But goals would be to reduce our carbon footprint, period. That would be a goal that Apple might have. Even though you have a specific Apple product, this might be a goal that you would include here. Because remember, if you don't find goals for your specific product, see if you can find goals for your division. Can't find goals for the division, see if you can find it for the corporation. Okay, if you can't find any, give me the sources you searched. The third and final section would be objectives. Objectives are very specific. These are things that they hope to achieve in the future that are very specific. They have numbers, they have dates, they're measurable. We hope to gain 2% market share by to go from 12% to 14% market share over the next 5 years. That is a very specific, measurable thing that they put out there, and we call it an objective. If it has years or dates in it, it is considered an objective. If it's something they hope to do and it doesn't have specifics and it's not measurable, then it's a goal. Sometimes, as I said before, you may find goals and objectives presented together. For example, I gave the goal to reduce the company's carbon footprint. Okay, so evidently it's an environmental goal. Well, then they might have right underneath that some specific things they're going to do to try to achieve that goal. Things like we're going to reduce our use of water by 20% over the next 2 years. That would be an objective trying to achieve the goal of reducing their carbon footprint or something, along those lines. So if they're presented together, you may want to present them together. If you do that, you'll only have 2 sections. The first section, mission statement. The second section, goals and objectives together. And you would have an introductory sentence of below you'll find the goals, parentheses in bold, close parentheses, and objectives, parentheses in italics, close parentheses, for the ABC product. And then you put them in there, distinguishing between what's a goal and what's an objective. I want you to show me that you know the difference between a goal and an objective. Goals are very general, looking to the future. Objectives are very specific, have numbers and dates, looking into the future. Okay. Again, if you do not find any objectives, it's the same process that if you don't find any goals. Tell me that you could not find any, and then list the sources that you searched. With the goals and objectives, when you find them, simply cut and paste them and put them in. And then cite that, because those are not your words. Then cite them specifically. If you have 4 goals that you found and all 4 came from the same source, all you do is have to cite the last one, and the reader will understand that all 4 came from the same source. You do not have to put the same reference number or name or whatever identifier after each and every goal if they all came from the same one. Or you can let the reader know that in the introductory sentence. Introductory paragraph. The same is true with objectives. So for paper number 2, short paper number 2, that's due a week from today, on the 21st of September, you will need to present a mission statement, cite it, and then critique it. If you can't find a mission statement for your individual product or your division or your company, then you'll make one up. You'll create one, looking at similar products, looking at the 5 questions on page 30, etc. Then you'll also have a section for goals and a section for objectives. Unless you want to present them together, then you'll just have a second section presenting both goals and objectives. You will cut and paste those in, cite those. If you do not find either one of those, then the ones that you don't find, give me the sources on where you looked. Okay? Sorry about the length of this explanation video. But it's a lot simpler than you would think. Do not make it harder than it is. Paper 2 will have the least amount of writing of any paper that you have. The only writing that you will create will be the introductory sentences or introductory paragraphs for each section, and a mission statement if you can't find one. That's it. And the critique. But this is very, very brief, to the point, and then move on. Okay. I think the internet problems are solved. So go ahead and start working on this. And if you have any questions, go to the website or the syllabus, and you'll get my contact information there.